Welcome to your Illinois Nebraska preview presented by PrizePicks. Got some Friday night football in Lincoln. Big Ten action. Ari, I cannot wait to see this game because we've been wondering, what is Nebraska? Is it possible that this is a team that not only is going to become bowl eligible, which is something they haven't done since 2016, but potentially compete in the college football playoff race?
Yeah, absolutely. But what also about you're fighting Illini, Andy? We're talking about a 3-0 squad here too, who has a pretty quality win over Kansas. I think at this moment, but we're gonna find out. This game, I think, is going to be very exciting and potentially very close.
Yes, I think this could be a very close game, and the thing is, we don't know how challenged Nebraska has been yet because we're really not sure what Colorado is. And like you said about Illinois, we're not sure what Kansas is. We saw Kansas against UNLV last week, and obviously there were some deficiencies there too. But I do think Illinois is better than I imagined them to be going into the season because my thing with Illinois was they had all this elite defensive talent for the last couple of years, and 2 first-round guys in the past 2 years off this defense. And it didn't seem like they had any first-round guys on the defense this year, but I'd say it's still performing very well based on what we've seen so far. They're only giving up 8.7 points a game, and the offense is about what you'd expect from in terms of pacing and style from a Bret Bielema team, where they've run the ball 105 times, they've thrown it 83 times, so they're going to favor the run over the pass, and that's probably my biggest question as you enter this game. Because I do feel like Nebraska's defense is built to stop the run. They are so stout up the middle with Ty Robinson and Nash Hutmacher. So that's the part I wonder. Can Illinois consistently run the ball on this team? Because that's what allows them to control the tempo and the pacing and keep the ball out of Dylan Raiola's hands. The numbers I'm looking at here are basically all the rushing yards. So if we're on PrizePicks and PrizePicks, the best daily fantasy game in America, use that code STAPLES, play $5, get $50 instantly. So the numbers I'm looking at, the squares I'm looking at, and you play squares on PrizePicks, you pick at least 2. You can pick more than 2. The more you pick, the more the potential payout. So Caden Fagan, 50.5 rushing yards. He's going to have to go more than that for them to win this game. They're going to have to be able to run the ball consistently and reliably and get some pop out of the run game. Because, it's one thing, some teams will just keep running the ball so that they are running it so that you're sort of keeping the defense honest. With Nebraska, I think they're so good up the middle. You've got to just try to beat them. And so Fagan, he's carried 42 times. He averaged 4 yards a carry. They're going to need him to average at least that. If you're averaging 2.5, 3 yards a carry, you're not winning this game.
Yeah, and it's also just a matter about how many times he's going to carry the football. He has not carried the football more than 16 times in any of the games this year. So in order to get to that number, you're probably going to have to, exceed your 4.1 yards per attempt. But yeah, I do think that a lot of the attention in this game, Andy, is going to be at the quarterback play. And obviously you have a rising star in Dylan Raiola on the other sideline. But I do agree with you that the key of this game is going to be how well Illinois can run the football and control some of that clock and keep the ball out of Nebraska's hands.
Yeah, Luke Altmyer has been very efficient at quarterback for Illinois so far. But I do think the run game will determine that. Because if you are not running the ball well, as you saw against Colorado, which doesn't run the ball well at all, Nebraska will just tee off on you. And a lot of that pressure comes from straight up the middle, which is even harder to deal with because it's what the shortest distance between 2 points is straight line. If you're coming from the nose or coming from a 3 technique defensive tackle and you're getting pressure through there, which Nebraska is really good at, it's very hard to throw the ball. So that's the only way to keep that honest and keep that off you is to run the ball effectively.
Yeah, I also too, I know Dylan Raiola's been the headline grabber for obvious reasons, but you can make the case that Luke Altmyer has had a better season so far, at least statistically, than Raiola has. Now, I don't know if the ceiling is there, but we're talking about a guy who's thrown no interceptions this season and has more touchdown passes than Raiola and basically the same amount of yards, 647 for Altmyer, 670 for Dylan Raiola. And I'm looking at his passing total in the square here, and 201.5 yards, I think, is a pretty manageable number if they are able to run the ball and keep Nebraska's defense off balance a little bit. I think I would take more than 201.5 yards here.
Yeah. No, I think, again, he's going to have to do that if they're going to win the game. Now, the Raiola number for passing yards is 219.5. So it's not a huge number, but this is going to be a pretty good defense they're playing. I think it's one of the other one that I think is more interesting. So there's a demon square, and for those who don't know, the demon squares, higher potential payout on those. It's 0.5 interceptions. So if you think Dylan Raiola is going to throw a pick here, then you can take that one and you could potentially do pretty well for yourself. And I think the big question is, how well does he take care of the ball? Because what was Nebraska's problem all along? And this predates Dylan Raiola. This actually predates Coach Matt Rhule as well. They couldn't take care of the football. They would lose in the most hysterical ways, often involving turnovers. Dylan Raiola has been pretty careful so far.
Only one pick so far this year, right?
Yeah. Does he stay that way against the best defense he's played so far?
Yeah, it would be cool if PrizePicks had a grab ass square, because that would be pretty high on the list of at least old Nebraska, the new square, the new Nebraska team. Like, I'm at the point now, and again, call me nuts, but like, I am viewing Nebraska through a new lens. Like, I am not holding the turnover, terrible call, incredibly hilarious mistake Nebraska against this team. So
no, and you shouldn't.
And, there's a new coach and a new quarterback and a lot of really good players. So, I think that Illinois is unequivocally the best defense that they will have faced. And Raiola has only thrown more than, he threw for more than 230 yards in 2 of the 3 games, but has not thrown more than 250 yards in any of the games this year. So that's a really interesting number there.
Well, 220 gets you there this week. So, and I think 220 gets you a win probably this week. I don't even know that he has to go more than 219.5. I think, if they're opportunistic and they are stopping Illinois' run game, they're going to get some shorter fields to work with. And points may be at a premium in this game. This may be a 17-13 type game.
Absolutely, yeah, and it might just be like Big Ten West football revival. Like, I'm on high alert for that. Friday night games get a little weird, or this game could be 55-50. We never know what you're going to get out of the Big Ten West on Friday night, and the Big Ten West might not exist anymore, but it sure does in my heart.
That's right. It's Big Ten West in spirit, even though it doesn't actually affect any sort of standings, because it's all Big Ten, and you still got to deal with Ohio State.
It's an ethos. It's an ethos, much like Pac-12 After Dark. That still exists too. They can't take it from us, Andy.
Friday night, Big Ten West, Illinois at Nebraska. Let's go.